And welcome back, everyone, to episode 48 of the Sports Coverage Podcast. My name is Andrew, alongside my co-host Vince. And today we are back at SBC camps, which means we also have another special guest joining us today, Sam. Went to this camp with us last year, and he's here again this year. So we're actually at the North Jersey camp this time, but he is a Philadelphia sports fan, so he's repping the Sixers here, and all other Philly teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely have a lot to talk about today. NBA free agency has started. NFL is still going strong. Training camp opens in 2 weeks, I believe. We have a lot going on. The downfall of the Yankees, even more. We talked about that last week and how they need to improve, and they haven't yet. So we'll talk about that in MLB. Ben Rice, though.
He's the only bright spot right now.
Oh, 100%. And, well, actually, I'll get to that later with the record he broke yesterday. But we also have the NHL draft happen this week, which I think we forgot to touch on a bit last week, but we'll go through that a bit. NHL free agency, of course. So, ton to talk about. Some good fast facts. NCAA 25. Just a little bit, of course, because, we got to keep that going. But, 2 weeks till that, right?
2 weeks? Are you kidding me? It comes out next week. Get your head straight, baby. Get your head straight.
What's today's date?
The greatest game.
Today's the 7th, buddy. That's a week and a half. That's not next week.
You just said 2 weeks.
No, you said
whatever. Same thing. Round up.
Have you gotten the game yet?
Yeah, I pre-ordered it.
All right, good. And you?
Of course, pre-ordered.
Let's go.
All right, so early access, and when are we doing our game? Are we still on for that?
We got to figure out some dates. I'll be here to the end of July. So.
Remember, Bryant-Denny Stadium, Gators versus Bama, and we'll see who comes out on top. We talked about this last week. But who do you think? Me versus him? I'm Bama, he's Gators.
Well, I just beat you in a video game 4-2.
Okay, he's never played NHL before. That's not.
See, you also had the Bruins, and I had the Flyers, so that's a little advantage to you.
You're calling your team bad.
I mean, we're up on
they
the
weren't
rise,
good,
but we're not good.
They weren't good. Wait, but who do you think wins? Me, Bama, him, Florida, in Tuscaloosa, NCAA 25.
If it was in the swamp, it'd be much closer, but it's Bama, so I think Bama by a mile.
Hey, there we go. All right. Did you see? Well, before we get started, did you happen to see any of the top 25 rankings for offensive defense yet?
Florida wasn't even.
Florida wasn't on there.
Well,
I know.
I think we're on 25 defense.
Yeah.
My college UNC wasn't on there, but Clemson.
I think you were on there for.
You were.
Oh, we were.
Yeah, for defense, I believe. Let's see.
Let's see. Let's scroll up.
Oh, we might have been for defense. Yeah.
That's power rankings. Yeah.
23. Our defense. That's surprisingly.
23
our defense is not good. Usually our offense is our best weapon.
Look at Bama, man. Number 3 and 5.
Yeah.
It's scary.
This is gonna be fun. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's get back to our one. All right. We are going to start with the NFL, and somehow the Cowboys have the top two things on here. Both of them, I think, are good for my New York Giants and your Philadelphia Eagles. So CeeDee Lamb will make the decision to request a trade of contract extension from the Cowboys, not what he's aiming for. Are the Cowboys actually going to give him something huge?
I mean, he deserves it. And I get it, you guys are both rival fans, but from a perspective, again, not being biased at whatsoever here, I think CeeDee Lamb's good. He deserves this. You've seen him play these last couple of years. Even at Oklahoma, he was a dog. He was amazing. He is one of the greatest receivers in the league right now. And, of course, Justin Jefferson's going to get paid. He's arguably the best receiver in the league right now. Tyreek Hill, things like that. But, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think CeeDee Lamb should get what he wants? And if not, again, where should it go from here?
I think CeeDee Lamb should get paid. See, he's one of the best receivers right now in the NFL. And the Cowboys, they're in the middle. We don't know how they're going to do. They didn't have, the best offseason, didn't really make a lot of headlines. So we'll see how they do. I think CeeDee Lamb should get paid, though, because he's one of the bright spots on the Cowboys, one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Cowboys, I don't think they ever know what direction they're going to go in. And if we're looking at a guy like CeeDee Lamb, obviously 1,000 yards, he's been just absolutely amazing. He's been making headlines last year's touchdown after touchdown, yard after yard. And Dak Prescott was a huge part of that. So if Dak Prescott doesn't perform, I don't know if CeeDee Lamb will. And I think CeeDee Lamb can be even better with an even more capable quarterback. So is he going to want to stay stuck with the Cowboys where he might be just rotting in the first round of the playoffs for the rest of his career?
I think he should. I think he should leave. I mean, I get it. He's from that kind of around that area. He went to college around that area, but still, I would want to leave. I would want to play with the quarterback who can actually throw me the ball. I mean,
Well, it's not like he hasn't been making receptions.
well, of course. I mean, he had the longest touchdown I think last year
Yeah.
against the Lions. So, but still, I mean, I think he deserves to get a better quarterback. Number one, deserves to get paid. He is one of the best receivers in the league right now, and yeah, I mean, that's just put it like that.
Yeah, and I think there's just a lot of facts to go off of there. But for the Cowboys, like we haven't really talked about the Cowboys as a team yet. Are they willing to even do this? Are they going to go out and spend that much money?
Well, again, they have to pay Micah Parsons, Dak, and CD. This is huge for them. And
Also, by the way, CeeDee Lamb's going to request because CeeDee
yeah.
Lamb is going to get probably he's going to ask for more money than Justin Jefferson might get.
Definitely.
I mean, I don't think he should. Listen,
I don't think he deserves it, but he's going to ask for it.
I mean, listen, somewhere around there, but not the exact amount. I mean, what do you?
I think as long as he's in like the Justin Jefferson range, he deserves that kind of money. I think.
And how much did Justin Jefferson get? Do you guys let's search it up?
Yeah, I don't even. He got.
I know it was one of the richest contract in NFL.
He got. Yeah, it was huge, but I think CeeDee Lamb is gonna $35 million a year. So I think CeeDee Lamb is gonna set a precedent, or he's gonna ask for a contract based off of that Justin Jefferson contract because I think they're. I don't know how many people would agree, but they're pretty similar players, similar play styles, stuff like that.
This is like the new generation, though. Like receivers want to get paid. If they're that good, they want to get paid, or then they're going to request a trade.
Yeah, and we talked about the new generation of football a lot in like a lengthy conversation a couple weeks ago. It's different now, and I think these two superstars and three with how potentially some other guys newer like the new speedsters and stuff like that, the rookies are going to go. These two guys are going to set a precedent for the next decade, maybe on how wide receivers are going to get paid, especially guys like those. So I think CeeDee Lamb. I don't know if the Cowboys are going to be willing to go up to above $35 million a year for him. I mean, he's obviously made a difference for their team, but do they really need him?
I think they should focus on not just a playmaker, but a quarterback. And if Dak Prescott's not going to be that guy, and you can't even make it at the first round of the playoffs, what goes on from here? That's really what we have to think about as just fans of the NFL, not just Cowboy fans. And I know you say, it's my year. It's not your year, any year. All right, and I know these guys like saying,
"Oh, of course,
it's not their year." But listen, I just think you need to get a quarterback who's gonna take you deep in the playoffs, at least second round, at least somewhere around the second round, like the Sixers do every year. For taking a shot. Yeah, I mean, I just think you really need to set a standard for the team in general, and get a quarterback, and you're good. But for CD. Let me ask you guys. Look, they need to pay Micah. They need to pay CD, and they need to pay Dak. Who do you pay out of those guys?
I feel like it's whoever is making the biggest impact. Right now, I think CeeDee Lamb because he's the most consistent. Dak Prescott isn't always on his game. Micah Parsons a couple times last year didn't get really on the stat sheet. So I feel like CeeDee Lamb is the one that should get paid, but you have to choose one of the three. I don't think you can sign all three.
Yeah, that's just
I would 100% go CeeDee Lamb out of those three options.
I wouldn't even touch on Dak, though.
Yeah, I would know.
No, I mean, they should have really just focused
But
on
hold on. Everyone can hate on Dak, but he's not like he's been having awful stats the last, 5 years.
Yeah,
he's just not able to perform.
But what Jerry thinks, and what I think he thinks is, my quarterback's not taking me through the guts of the playoffs. I don't want him in my team anymore. And that's what I think the whole team needs to understand. If you want to make it past, again, the first round, second round, you need a quarterback. And I think getting rid of Dak Prescott is the fine move. That's okay with me. I think that's what they should have been doing from all along.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb or Micah Parsons, it comes down to those two. I think CeeDee's the man. But you're going to have to remember how much he's getting paid. And come that offseason, God knows who you're going to get during that offseason. Maybe it's just one.
This was their year, though, to get someone. And they didn't. Because I think they're expecting that they're going to need some money to pay him.
Yeah.
Do you think that was a reason why they didn't actually make a lot of moves?
I mean, yes, but what I'm thinking here is, do you think the Cowboys can even pull off signing even one of these guys?
I think so. It's Jerry Jones. He has the money. They have the cap space. But
Parsons is staying.
Parsons is staying. I think he's going to get a big contract.
Really?
No, he's not. We can't afford him. as much as I want him.
No. You've seen him at games, and I know he's from Penn State, but still, you've seen
No,
him.
no. But here's the thing. Micah Parsons actually likes it there. Is CD? I don't even know. Is CD Lamb gonna want to stay?
CD's not really in like. He's not. He doesn't like come out and say his opinions. Micah Parsons like out. He like does podcasts and all about like why like
America's team and stuff like that.
But like CD Lamb's just like he's humble. He's under the radar. He doesn't say much about the team.
Wait. CD Lamb is humble.
No, humble like in the way that he doesn't talk a lot about the team in public. So I think they have to pay him because he's one of the best receivers. And if you don't pay him, the Cowboys might not go anywhere.
If they don't pay him, someone else is 100% going to pay him. But real quick, we were speaking about Dak Prescott and stuff, and we saw a big thing this year. We saw a big thing recently from like photos of training camp and stuff like that getting started. Dak Prescott was seen wearing a boot on his right foot. I mean, is that going to be bad? Is he going to be ready for the start of training camp? I haven't really read a lot about this, but from what you know, is he?
I mean, we've seen the photos. We've seen everything on social media. I just don't know, come maybe the beginning of the season, will he be fine? I don't really know what it is. It's obviously on his foot somehow. Maybe he sprained something. I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. But, again, this really does shock, I guess, the Cowboys nation, all of that. But, after this, I don't really think he should be even getting paid. If he's getting hurt during the offseason, that sucks even more. He should not be getting paid. Get a new quarterback at this point, man.
Yeah, I feel like, in my opinion, this is Dak Prescott's make or break season. He has to show that they have a good regular season and they can win playoff games. So
listen, it's not that they don't have good regular seasons. And yes, they do.
They do. Of course.
But it's the playoffs. It's the pressure. And I understand you play teams like the Eagles, the 49ers. But if you're going to want to be known as America's team, this and that, damn, you got to beat these teams. Come on. I mean, it's really just like that. You can't have, respect like that and not be able to beat teams like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Playoffs are like the one thing. You usually get your legacy from the playoffs. So if you don't win anything, like, what's your legacy going to be?
Exactly. And Dak Prescott, if he isn't a Cowboy in the foreseeable future, where is he going? Because I don't know what team he could fit with.
I can't really. I don't know.
I don't see him anywhere else.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm just trying to think who needs a quarterback. I would hate if he went to the Dolphins, but we know the Dolphins have a.
But I mean, at this point, we're looking at every team right now. Every team has a quarterback.
Yeah.
I
mean, Broncos, you can say because
Broncos are in between.
Bo Nix is, I will say this, gonna be.
Yeah, even if we're looking at like rookie quarterbacks, every team has a. I think he's going to go somewhere where a rookie quarterback doesn't work out and they need guidance. I think he's going to be one of those veteran guys.
The Saints.
Derek Carr? That's possible.
He leaves in a couple of years.
Also,
he's going to retire.
Also, Rams, because Matthew Stafford is getting older. And I feel like...
But, again, that doesn't... I like what you're saying here, but it doesn't... I mean, same thing with Derek Carr. They're both kind of slow. I'll give you that. Derek Carr... I mean, but the thing was Dak, he can run. He's kind of a mobile...
Yeah, that's
kind of ish quarterback. Matthew isn't. So, it depends... how are the receivers going to be able to get used to that?
Mm-hmm.
That's where you got to think. In my perspective, I guess they can change the offense. But how people can get like Kupp going to be used to that. Atwell be used to that. That's just where I come and think about that.
I just think that if Dak Prescott's going to go somewhere, he has to go to like a winning team. He can't go to one of these teams that are like.
Well, he's on a team that's supposed to be the greatest team of all time. So still, his legacy is.
I have a theory. Aaron Rodgers, if he gets hurt again the next 2 years, Dak Prescott's going to be the Jets QB.
That's interesting. That's a good take, because...
Hold on. Jack is next door.
No. We can't.
I'm not going to get him tonight. But next week, possibly, we'll get him his opinion on that, of course. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like that. I see it. But... excuse me. I don't see Dak. I mean, I don't see Rodgers even staying anywhere near healthy next year. In my opinion, he's been hurt so long. It's
I don't know. Well, we're actually let's just talk about Aaron Rodgers real quick while we're here. So apparently, he is missing the first week of mini camp, optional camp, stuff like that, because he had a pre-planned trip to Egypt. He planned a vacation during a pivotal time for him to get back into playing and stuff like that with the Jets and meet his pretty much still new team. Um, what is happening? This does not look good for the Jets.
I'm gonna tell you this right now, and I understand. I saw Jack.
This is not a good look.
Listen, Jack was talking about now on his channel the same thing. You know, when it comes down to a player who just got hurt a season ago, you need to get locked in and back to your team as soon as possible, and just get to know your team number one and play with the team, and you just kind of learn from them. Like, look at this. He's planning trips while he just got hurt a year ago. God knows how he's gonna play this year.
It would look a little bit better if he was on a darkness retreat to get locked in for the season.
Well,
but
we know how that went last year. Got hurt week 1. So
this is weird too because Aaron Rodgers is one of the most veteran QBs in the whole entire league.
Dedicated too.
Yeah. So for him to plan a trip knowing when it is, like during minicamp, that's just not like him, and that's, I don't think, a leader.
And did you guys see Salah lied about it? He said that it was something personal. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Salah had to lie about it, number one. And I have a feeling that their relationship isn't very good. I feel like it's kind of.
But also, I think that Salah and a lot of coaches told him to stop rushing back, and I think that might have caused something because I don't think that they're looking for him to get back week 16, but he was. That's what he was planning to do the whole time. He was ready to play that last week.
That shouldn't even be a discussion, and especially if he's doing things like this, he shouldn't be able to even play with the team. If I'm the coach, if I'm the general manager,
who are you putting at QB?
With a Simeon?
You can't. We can't be benching anyone.
It's just Aaron Rod. He's probably still one of the best QBs when he's healthy. So I feel like it's
his off the field antics that really just it screwed him over. Number one. Everyone talks about it throughout the offseason, and now depending on the season, I'm gonna say it again. Like you said earlier, make or break. This is the year the Jets need to show out. If they don't do something this year, somewhat. Look at this. You got Mike Williams, who is arguably going to help Aaron Rodgers out.
You have Mike Williams, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. Those three guys.
Can we just give some respect to Malachi Corley? He is going to be one of the greatest rookies, or best rookies. Best rookies in the draft class.
Okay, but here's another thing. I'm looking at this depth chart now. If Aaron Rodgers isn't the answer, Tyrod Taylor, he's a very good second. He was able to perform well. No, bro.
No.
He almost beat the Bills last year. That's not saying much.
But based off of seeing what I saw, Tyrod Taylor didn't really. I don't remember. Oh, caught my eye.
Yeah, Jordan Travis, the third string.
Wait till he comes back. Hold on. Let me ask you a question though. When Jordan Travis comes back from his injury, which I know that was really disappointing, even as a Gator fan, that was really sad. Obviously they beat Florida. Anyway, what goes into Travis's mind right now? Do you think he will be the starter one day? Do they pursue a quarterback after Rodgers is done with the next couple of years? Should Tyrod Taylor be the next quarterback, or should Travis be the next quarterback?
I think this is sort of what the Packers did when Aaron Rodgers was a QB and they drafted Jordan Love. See, they got a QB. Aaron Rodgers is on sort of his last legs with the team. I feel like in a few years, Jordan Travis is going to get that chance to prove if he's the franchise QB for the Jets.
But I think we're seeing the same thing with the Falcons, though.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing with Michael Penix.
I don't know if you saw our clip. Mega viral. What do you have to say about everything about the Falcons' antics and all that?
I just don't get why they picked. Why would you spend 4 years and money?
Well, let me tell you what.
Well, but here's my point. But here's my point.
They were saying the same thing about it's kind of like what Jordan Love did. They were kind of saying the same thing about that. So, do you?
But now here's the thing. My question was, if Michael Penix isn't going to get playing time for probably the first 3 and a bit years of his career, is he going to want to stay with a team that might?
That is true.
But obviously Jordan Love did that. Now he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, but of course, you're not going to replace Aaron Rodgers. That's insanely hard, and the fact that he's about to do it is blows my mind. Replacing Kirk Cousins, who's only been there not even a year, he just got to the team. is not going to be hard. I think Penix can build off a legacy. People are saying he's the next Vic. I mean, he is mobile, lefty.
And lefty.
You can see it. But yeah, I mean, having a lefty quarterback is valuable. I don't hate on it. Again, like I said last week, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's just get through the NFL real quick because we're already 20 minutes in. Rams re-signed John Johnson III to a 1-year deal.
He was good at Madden, but
he was good at Madden. What a yeah. Yeah. You gonna go NBA or?
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. NBA free agency. This is crazy. I just want to read your key that you put in here real quick.
Orange Eagles trade, all right? And notes turquoise signing extension in green is rumor or retire. We didn't have any rumors, so.
Yeah. All right.
Well, this actually happened.
This was right before, yeah.
I know, but this is literally the day we filmed. We couldn't be able to talk.
Oh yeah. This came out as soon as we started, or as soon as we ended. So the Hawks trade DeJounte Murray to the Pelicans for. Sorry, I was. All right. The Hawks trade DeJounte Murray to the Pelicans for Larry Nance Jr., Dyson Daney, and 2 firsts.
Listen, I think all along the Hawks should have never even gotten DeJounte Murray. I know they wanted that Batman and Robin kind of style play. They just got their new future with just share. The first round pick. So of course they want to rebuild kind of this team a little bit. They got a first round pick. DeJounte Murray leaving is huge for them. They should have done that all along. They should have never even gotten him. They experimented.
Also, 2 firsts though. So now this again, go time now.
Yeah, I mean, and I will say, Larry Nance, very good veteran, someone who's very good presence on the court. Definitely like that a lot. But for the Pelicans, what does this mean? They had a amazing playoff run. It wasn't really amazing, but they look good. All right, in that first round. So. What do you think comes from here? What do you think the Pelicans do? They have Zion. They have,
Brandon Ingram.
No, Ingram. He's had trade rumors and all that. But what do you think comes from here with the Pelicans?
So they, low key, they have a pretty big three. DeJounte Murray's a good veteran guard. Brandon Ingram, he's grown into his role, and Zion, if he's healthy, is a very good player. So.
Zion.
Whoa. Zion did well. He got hurt against OKC, I'll give you that.
Relying on Zion to lead a big 3 on your team is a little.
He was good at Duke.
Good at Duke.
I think we can say he's a bust though. Like right now, because he can't stay healthy. He can't really do much. So I feel like though the Hawks, I think, won this trade. The 2 firsts, I think, it's going to come in really handy.
First is for DeJounte.
Yeah, I know.
Dyson Daniels is a good, he's not a rookie, but he's a young, and he'll be good. Larry Nance, like you said, is a very good veteran, so he'll help him out. I think Trae Young.
I just don't know where the Hawks specifically go from here. They got the first round pick, first overall pick. They got they lost the Murray. They still have Trae Young. He has also traded rumors. A lot of things is going on with the Hawks. Do you think they're in rebuild mode?
I think you have to at this point because there's nothing really. They don't have any other pieces besides Trae Young right now. So I feel like they experimented with DeJounte Murray. Didn't really work out. Had a few years where they made the playoffs, made a little run. But I feel like now is the time to start rebuilding.
Yeah. All right, moving on. D'Angelo Russell picks up an $18.7 million player option for next season and says that his main priority is championship status. Is he capable of that?
Not with Bronny James.
No, yeah, not with Bronny.
Did you guys see he dropped 4 points?
2 for 9.
Bro, he got denied and then dunked and everyone went crazy.
Not efficient.
No. Bro.
Championship status is not even a word that should be mentioned by the Lakers, and I understand they made it to the conference finals just 2 years ago, or 2023. But still, you're not as good as you once were.
1 for 6.
But Russell's still okay. Hasn't been really good since the Nets. But I don't know.
What?
What, you don't think D'Angelo was good on the Nets?
Bro, the Nets.
He was good on the Nets.
Yeah, he was fine in the Nets. He was fine in the Nets.
Yeah.
But you're saying that he wasn't good at all since then?
I mean, he's been
Yeah,
okay.
but, okay. on the
That's a little
Warriors- on the
extreme.
Warriors,
That's a little
come on.
extreme, though.
Warriors, that did not work out at all. That
No,
was
yeah,
terrible.
obviously, but I don't think you can say that he's been a bust ever since the.
No, he hasn't. He did good with the Lakers, like that, but not as good as we saw back with the Nets.
Right, so he's just out of his prime, but I don't think you should be saying he's like not good or not worth
Oh, I'm not
keeping.
saying. Oh, no. I of course I think he's still good. I think he's still capable enough to be a starting point guard. But again, saying championship status and this and that, he's not a championship status guard. I'll give you that. If they want to win, get rid of D'Angelo Russell. I don't think he should be having the honor to even be mentioned as one. Something like that.
Yeah. All right, next up, Russell Westbrook picks up a $4 million player option and is returning to the Clippers. Good for the Clippers. This is one bright spot. This is one bright spot, I guess.
Listen, I don't know if Russell Westbrook was the right move. Just I wouldn't really want to have him anymore. And his career is really coming to a close. I'll give you that. But yeah, the Clippers haven't been very, very good, and
They haven't been very good last year.
yeah, come on.
They have
These
to,
are the
but
Mavs.
the playoffs though they don't.
Well, yeah, the
do anything
playoffs,
in
but
the
you
playoffs.
can't be saying they weren't good. They had a team.
Yeah, but of course, experiments didn't work out. All right. And
Well, it didn't work out at first. Then James Harden got hot, figured out the team, and then it went very well.
all right. I don't know. I just think signing Westbrook is not what they need to be doing at the moment. They just lost part of it.
Well, he just picked up the player option.
I know.
I think that they still need to keep a piece of that old team. I think just gutting it right now is not the move. So I think keeping Russell Westbrook is the right
Well,
move.
they're getting kind of a new era. They're getting a new stadium,
Mm.
leaving Staples Center crypto.
Right. So if they don't keep Russell Westbrook, they don't have anyone. They don't have anyone to sell the
I don't know if
jerseys
they
and sell
have-
the
I don't know if they
tickets.
have money to sign the player. After that $1 billion stadium they just got, that's.
I just feel like Russell only $4 million for a year. I feel like Russell Westbrook, yes, he's not as good as he once was, but he'll still give you quality minutes, and so that's sort of a cheaper deal for him. So I feel like it's
I
a
think
good.
that's just his player option from the original contract.
So like his original contract was like I think it was around 2 years, $10 million with a player option in the second year. So it's not. It's like a team friendly,
they were
player friendly.
expecting him to get a little worse and
Yeah.
not be worth as much. But yeah, but geez, Royce O'Neal.
Okay, I just want to have your. Was he? He played with the Nets, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So how?
I love Royce O'Neal.
All
I'm surprised
Um,
that someo's giving him this much money.
right.
4-year, $44 million.
That's
deal with
$11
the
million
Suns.
a year. That's a lot.
That's a lot for Royce O'Neal. I mean, this guy was low-key really good, and I enjoyed watching him play, but that is a lot of money.
I don't think the Suns should be doing this.
I don't think the Suns know what they're doing.
I don't even know what the Suns are doing at this point.
I want to say something, by the way. Where are all these teams getting this money from? Because so far, literally just money's been spawning out of nowhere. There's been so much going around, like so many massive deals. I don't know where the teams are getting this from.
Like, can we just look at this? Obi Toppins has a 4-year. I know I'm skipping ahead, but Obi Toppins has a 4-year, $60 million.
Yeah,
Where
he's
did
not
he get
worth
his money
that.
out of it from? Like, this is really just. This is insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think Royce O'Neal was that much
Yeah.
money. Maybe give him half his contract, $22 million, for maybe a 4 or not 4 year.
No, that would not be good.
3-year, $22 million.
No, that's too low. I would think he would never accept that.
Or give him like 30 mil. Somewhere around there.
30,
I don't think-
30,
I don't-
30
that's
mil
not-
for 3 years, fine. Yeah, but I just want to check Royce O'Neal's stats real quick because I didn't really.
I haven't paid attention to him in a minute.
Yeah.
Because he was in the Nets. What is that for story?
8 points a game is not worth $11 million a year.
Yo, what?
That is not.
Wait.
If he was getting 5 assists,
Only shooting.
Okay, but look, if he was getting at least a good amount of assists, yeah, he deserves the money.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, listen, assist comes with a big part of it. I mean, how young? is he?
31. Wait, so this contract's gonna go through 35?
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Money.
I don't like
Come on. This is
The Suns.
And
they're just in
he's
a-
projected
Sounds like
according
the Falcons. Sounds like the Falcons.
according to Basketball Reference, he's expected to 10.7 points, which is not for the 2024-2025 season for his projection. Let's see what was he doing on Brooklyn? Brooklyn. I mean, yeah, he was never that.
He's not. He hasn't averaged over.
I know, but look, he's getting minutes though. I mean,
that's a lot of minutes for only averaging 8 points a game.
I mean, granted, this is his best year since 22-23, but he's been around for a while.
28, 17, 18. He was drafted at 24? What?
I've also seen though he
must have been in
he has
G League.
not played in a lot of games compared to what he has recently. So
he did get hurt in the 20th. No, that was a trade. He's still been in the 70s the whole time, but yeah.
Now for that many minutes,
yeah.
for that many minutes played, should not be in that money. Should go like that. To be honest.
Yeah, Royce O'Neal though.
That's not.
All right. Okay. Patrick Williams signs 5-year, $90 million. We just said this with the Bulls. We just said this. Where is this coming from?
I just saw something on it was Instagram that Patrick Williams is probably the worst rated rookie out of his draft class alone. He was one of the higher picks on his draft class. What are the Bulls doing?
I mean, at this point,
listen, they got rid of DeMar DeRozan. We'll talk about that later. But what are they doing?
At this point, I feel like I don't know what they're doing. Are they trying to revolve around Zach LaVine? Lonzo might come back this year.
Josh Giddey.
Saw DeMar DeRozan. That's his final. It was his final straw or something that he wanted to leave because Josh Giddey was coming. So
Josh Giddey.
But yeah. The Bulls are really just out of their mind right now. Don't know what they're doing. And I understand they drafted Patrick Williams thinking he was going to be their franchise center. He hasn't. I mean, you were saying earlier how I was saying how someone wasn't very good. Patrick Williams is someone we can consider not very good. He has not lived up to his hype, though. I mean, he was projected to be one of the better. He was projected to be like a Bam Adebayo.
Well, you should. Well,
someone like kind of like a mid tier player. And look at that grade D.
Yeah.
So look at FSU. Okay, so I don't like him.
Wow. But he's not awful.
But he's not.
He's not worth
For his
5
size,
years.
he needs more rebounds than that.
Wait, let me see what his rebounds were. Where are they?
3.9 is not it.
How tall is he?
Well, some
6'7".
centers cannot. Oh, that's not really considered an excuse, but some centers cannot be or can be not very good at getting rebounds. That's something.
But Vinny, he's not awful.
But is he worth almost $100
He's
million?
not worth almost $100 million.
No, not so much money, but I just don't think he lived up to.
But also, he's 22.
Oh, is he? Oh yeah. Oh wait. Okay. Well, I mean that's also why.
Unless he's going to develop.
Wait,
I
so let's see.
don't
Let's see
think-
this is something. How much is he getting a year? 90.
You got this. Do the math. Bro, what?
I'm gonna need a calculator. I failed math last year to editing for the podcast the whole time. So.
What? Don't. You got this.
Oh, 18.
That's a lot.
So I'm gonna give you this.
And remember, Zion's making 4.
Yeah. The 5-year deal. I like how 5 years.
5 years is good. That should get him to his prime.
He was the rookie that they wanted all along. I mean, he got so young, 18. So look, $90 million. Not what they should have been paying for him.
No, definitely not.
For 5-year deal.
My computer. I need to plug my computer in, so we're gonna stop for a second. And then, all right. So moving on, the Pistons hired the Cavs' former head coach JB Bickerstaff as their new head coach. I mean, listen, we were talking a lot about the Cavs last week and some things that they've been doing and stuff like that. Was he actually like a good coach for the Cavs? And do you think he fits with the Pistons at all?
Well, I mean, I know the Pistons are going through a new dynasty, a new run, a new phase, new era. But listen, I don't blame JB. They lost to the Celtics, the champions, so you gotta cut the slack on that. He never really got to show his full potential. I mean, how long was he there? Do you guys know?
4 to 5 years, something like that. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
okay.
I'm
Well,
not
I mean,
sure. He might have been there long. I'm not sure.
So I mean, I really remember last year though, but it's past season. So I mean, I would have given him another shot. I know this team, like we said last week, They want to win. That's their whole goal. They just re-signed Donovan Mitchell, so they're ready.
Yeah.
They're in for a ride, man.
Yeah, and Pistons need a bounce back year, and I think that's just kind of
Hey,
this is a good
Harris.
start. All right. Next up, you kind of already mentioned this. Obi Toppin signs 4-year, $60 million deal with the Pacers again, just pulling money out of nowhere.
And I don't get it. Obi Toppin is not worth $60 million for 4 years. He's a quality bench player. He's not a starter. Not worth $60 million. That's too much.
And off camera, we were talking about Caleb Martin. I don't know if you saw the deal he rejected from the Heat.
Not in.
It was basically the same thing as that, but just an extra year. Blows my mind that the fact that we're paying someone who, yes, I will say deserves money. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve, but someone like that, especially these two guys. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Obi Toppin though, he hasn't really.
Yeah.
Like you said, people that aren't good. That's someone who's not very good.
All right, James Harden. Again, we're talking about the Clippers, and kind of they're trying to keep that momentum going from last season. Signs 2-year, $70 million deal with the Clippers, and I don't know. What do you think? I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier with kind of where the future of their team is going with their new arena and kind of new era, new logo, stuff like that. James Harden is going to stay the leader of this team. Is that the right move for them right now?
He should not be the leader of any team, no matter what team in the NBA. He does not have the pride, the significant title to be known as the leader, the captain. He's not capable enough to be like that. We saw him in Houston. He fooled around. That's not. He was never at practice. Sometimes he was never doing this and that. Yes, he won MVP. Yes, he did. Won accolades, won awards, but he was not the number one guy with the Clippers. Now he is. That's a lot to deal with, and he had to kind of be like that kind of
He
guy.
wasn't the number one guy last year?
I wouldn't say so.
I'd say PG.
I'd say PG.
PG, yeah.
And I understand Harden had it.
But you're saying Harden can't handle being the number one guy?
No.
Even as a Philly fan, the way he got out of us, he was like saying bad stuff about Daryl Morey, our GM, and everything.
Wait, so you think he wants out?
Well,
He's gonna want. Well, he just signed.
I mean,
he just signed,
I just don't understand.
and that's a lot of money.
Yes, for 2 years. Yes. I wouldn't want to go back to the Clippers after just lost. One of your.
But they didn't have a bad year, and it's not like
it's the playoffs. You lost to the Mavs. Understand something? The Mavs.
Yeah, and then the Mavs made the final, so it's not that embarrassing.
PG, Kawhi, and James Harden is a good big three. They should have done more in the playoffs.
Of course.
Yeah, but then again, the Mavs. It was a lot worse when they just lost to the Mavs immediately, and then that was that. But All right, next up, Max Christie signs 4-year, $32 million deal with the Lakers. And, LeBron had said he wants them to bring in big guys who can make a difference for this team, and that's when he'll request his contract, and that's when he'll agree to get paid. Well, so far, I don't think Bronny James is going to be making much of a difference for the Lakers this year, and I don't think Max Christie is going to be either.
Yeah, I don't really know. Like you mentioned, LeBron wants someone big. Max Christie does not sound that exciting. 4-year, $32 million. I will say, paying someone that's kind of a steal, though. I mean, you're only paying him $8 million, so it's not that bad of a deal. But again, you see the 32, you see a big number. I don't know. I just don't think he should have gotten paid. I think they should have moved on from him and went with that.
I know he's on the younger side, so 4 years, maybe towards the end of that, he can develop into a quality player. But right now, he's not worth that. $8 million a year is not worth his quality.
And the Lakers, frankly, did not need to.
You don't waste your money on a bench player like LeBron said.
LeBron needs change now, and they missed all of their chances.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Luke Cornett signs a 1-year deal with Boston. Yeah. Okay.
They're just running it back.
Yeah. Kevin Love signs a 2-year, $8 million deal with the Heat. All right, so just go ahead. Say whatever you want about the Heat.
I don't know if signing Kevin Love was the right move. He's an unk. I mean, 2-year, $8 million deal isn't bad. He's had his issues with the Cavs toward the end of his career with them. Played all right in a couple playoff runs. He's not going to get that many opportunities this year, especially with Khalil Ware. Wow. I'm so happy we got a center. Finally a 5. Finally a 5. Anyway, sorry for the glazing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it was that bad of a deal. I mean, you got it for 8 mil.
I mean, he's a veteran. Just keep him around, see what he can do. It's an okay signing.
Yeah. You know, the Sixers have been kind of cooking a bit because they get Andre Drummond as well, 2-year deal worth $10 million plus. He could be a big factor for the Sixers
I
this
like
year.
it.
I really like Andre
yeah.
Drummond in the first place, and I think this is a really good move by the Sixers.
It's going to help us a lot because we need a big to help out Embiid if he gets hurt, and Drummond gets the rebounds like a true center does, so I think it's a good signing for us.
In case Embiid gets hurt, that's it.
I don't know. I mean,
We'll
it's likely. I wouldn't say as
It's
likely
likely.
as Aaron Rodgers.
We'll make sure to talk with Jack about that, but yeah. I really like Andre Drummond. How was he last year?
Where?
He was with the Bulls.
Yeah.
He was.
Well, I mean,
Listen, I'm not gonna say he was very good. He
He might have
mid.
averaged a double double. I'm not totally sure.
No, probably not.
8.4 points. Listen though,
It's possible.
9
Okay.
rebounds.
That's good.
For
That's-
what they
that's
got him
big.
for, I'll give you that. And he actually gets rebounds. Unlike
Yeah.
who was it that we were talking about that who got paid really big?
Patrick Williams does not get.
Yeah,
rebounds.
nah, come on. It's just that's good. That's a good amount.
And he's only 30. He's got some.
And no, but he's a good backup. I'll give you that. I kind of wish that he got him someone like even the Nets.
But look at this career.
Backups.
Well, he was already on the
Oh yeah.
Nets. This is a long career.
He used to be an all-star. I remember that. He's been around a while.
So then where did he start? Detroit.
Detroit, a lot with Detroit. Then Cleveland, Lakers.
Wait, he played with.
So he was already with Philly.
Yeah, he played with us. He was.
Oh, was he part of that trade?
Yeah, he was. I think.
Huh. Fun. All right. Well.
He was part of that trade for James Harden.
And now he's back.
Well,
He'll do all right.
I like Andre Drummond a lot though. All right. K paid.
I'll say it.
KPJ signs a 2-year deal with the Clippers after a year with the Rio Grande Vipers.
I mean,
The Clippers again.
I don't know what the Clippers are really doing here. They're kind of just signing people that haven't played in the NBA in the last 2 years, so I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Especially if they want to build around James Harden, which is not going to say the best.
Yeah.
move.
Yeah, and yeah. Now we have another KCP signed a 3-year, $66 million deal with the Magic.
Love it. I think this is a phenomenal move. We saw him with the Lakers won a championship. We saw him with Denver won a championship. I'd say he had a bigger role, bigger factor with the Lakers. Sorry, not the Lakers, the Nuggets.
Yeah.
We saw it during that playoff run. I know firsthand with the Heat. I mean, he just toasted us big time. So definitely like this move. I think the Magic are looking for some veteran presence, and they finally got it. Someone who's experienced in the playoffs, but also winning championships. Definitely a big move.
Oh yeah, 100%. And yeah, I mean, the Magic are trying to get the job done here. They're trying to win. They're trying to use Paulo's.
But losing to the Cavs is not it. Not it. Not really screwing over.
They surprised me though. I was not expecting a Magic to beat. They weren't even the
Magic
play.
gets no
They
coverage.
were a 6 seed. They didn't even make the play, and they were better than that. So they exceeded my
But
expectations.
why does the Magic get no coverage
Just like any
in general? They never have primetime games.
no Florida
They
teams get any recognition. Let's be honest.
Don't be salty. They're just not good.
We just won the NHL.
Oh, what? Okay. I was talking about NBA.
Oh, I mean the Heat. No, but it's every sport in that I've realized. South Florida doesn't get anything.
Although to be clear, ESPN missed Florida hoisting the trophy. So
Did they really?
Yeah, they did. Well, anyway, on that note, they're paying him that. Anyway, they're just pulling money out of nowhere again. Jonas Valanciunas signs a 3-year, $30 million deal with the Wizards. Whew, the Wizards.
Wizards just lost. Denny, I don't know. I don't even want to pronounce.
Denny
his name.
Avdia.
Yeah,
Yo.
right. He went to the Blazers, correct? So getting it big, Valanciunas isn't bad. I'll give you that. Had a good role with the Pelicans, and I think they're gonna do okay. They lost Kristaps a couple years ago, so I like the move here.
Valanciunas is a veteran. I also like this signing for the Wizards. $10 million. Jordan Poole can maybe lob some up to him, so it's a good signing.
Hopefully.
All right. Cade Cunningham signs a 5-year, $226 million deal with the Pistons. Wow.
I didn't.
I don't think their ticket sales last year were even like a quarter of that.
How did they have this much money?
I don't know how the NBA salary cap works at this point, but Cade Cunningham, he's an all-star, to be honest. It's a good signing. 5 years, 226. Maybe in that span they can do something. Maybe
where did they get this money?
This is their only player.
If I'm Cade Cunningham, kind of an extension here, but
they just gave him the entire franchise. I would take that.
They got Tobias Harris.
I understand he also kind of doing for the money here, but he's not gonna get anything, man. He's not gonna be able to experience the whole O'Brien one day.
Oh yeah,
you gotta realize that.
Yeah,
5 years wasted a career.
Yeah. Next, Eric Gordon signs a 1-year, $3.3 million deal with the Sixers.
I like
Sixers
this.
again.
Come on, Sixers.
All right.
Listen, I hate Philly, but no, you go.
This is a good signing for us. We needed someone to space the floor, shoot threes, savvy veteran. He's a great signing for us. All we need now is a forward because we have no backup forward on our roster. We have like 8 people, and we only have 1 forward, which is Caleb Martin. So we need a forward badly.
And I'll give you this: Caleb Martin is not the best defender. I know personally. I've seen it firsthand. He's not as good as a defender as you may have seen on games. Listen, I'll give you this. He's very small for a forward. That's not very something you kind of like, but he's a good shooter. Give him that. But yeah, his defense is very good, so watch out.
Yeah. All right. Getting into the big stuff. Chris Paul signs a 1-year deal worth up to $11 million with the Spurs after being waived by the Warriors. The Warriors had said they might try to get a sign and trade for him going, just something to kind of send him on his way. The Spurs, though, that's a big veteran. That's a big veteran in the locker room.
I know. We were very young though. Lob City. Him and Wemby are going to be the greatest duo we've ever seen in the NBA history.
Whoa!
Come on!
We're talking about Chris Paul. He's like 38 now.
I don't care. This is better than Braun and D Wade.
No.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Come on. Yo,
all right, no. But here's the thing.
He's an alien. He's a unicorn. Finally getting some help. Chris Paul is one of the greatest passers of all time.
He just said something is better than something that happened on the Heat.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's new.
That's how you know it's real. And it's that's too hard.
Oh my god. What is this?
That's interesting.
Hey, Wemby's winning the MVP in the next couple of years.
Well, okay,
I agree.
Sure, fine. They're not,
but not the greatest duo. Are you serious?
Come on. He proved. I understand he's a little old. He's a little unk status, but give it to him.
A little.
Yeah, but he finally has a center. He didn't have a center on the Warriors. Now that the time, Wemby's gonna be getting lobs. It's literally gonna be lobs.
That's gonna be fun to watch.
Well, yeah, sure. He's gonna. They're not the best duo. It's not even gonna be close to being the best duo in the last even 5 years of the NBA.
All time. Actually, I don't know. Part of me wants to say Zach Edey and John Morant can be.
That's crazy.
Have you heard about the Zach Edey stuff on the podcast? I had to get pied.
He got pied.
I saw that.
Wait, are you jumping in the water?
And you have to jump in the lake at the shore or something, right?
Yeah, the ocean. I have not done that yet.
Well, we're waiting on that.
It's been raining, all right? It's been raining. And foggy and cloudy.
Yeah. All right, next up, Mason Plumlee signs a 1-year deal with the Suns. Cool. Good for them. Najee Marshall signs a 3-year, $27 million deal with the Mavs. The Mavs looking to go right back there.
Yeah. I mean, he played good with the Pelicans. We've seen it. I like that the Mavs are trying to get something done here, and this is a good move.
I think it's a good replacement for Derrick Jones Jr. Nice, solid player for only $9 million a year. I think that's a great deal for the Mavs.
Yeah. Kelly Oubre Jr. signs a 2-year deal with the Sixers worth up to $16.3. Sixers.
I'll go.
Well, we could let's just roll through a couple of these. Paul George signs a 4-year, $212 million deal with the Sixers, and Tyrese Maxey signs the max 5-year, $204 million deal once again with the Sixers. Reaction to all three.
we're loading up. Kelly Oubre was great for us. I'm so glad we have him back. Paul George, we needed the main target. We have one of the best big threes in the league now between Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, and Joel Embiid. They're all locked up for most likely the next 3 seasons. Cross your fingers. So hopefully we can do something and get past that second round as a Sixers fan.
Listen, I was saying stuff about the Knicks and Boston, but man, part of me wants to say the Sixers got a shot here.
Oh,
I think they're gonna finally surpass past the second round. They will make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Depending on who they have in their side of the bracket, they will make it. Mark my words.
I agree. I like that. Coming from Miami.
Listen, if Paul George can stay healthy, which I know has been, it wasn't really him. It was more Kawhi Leonard. But if he can stay healthy, if everyone can stay healthy, Embiid, Maxey, Maxey was healthy. If everyone can stay healthy, this team will be good. And on top of it, you get Caleb Martin. Good luck. I really do like this team up next year. And you got Andre Drummond. What a squad.
Yeah. All right, next up, Jalen Smith signs 3-year, $27 million deal with the Bulls. The Bulls also look like they're starting to load up for something.
See, I actually pulled a rookie card of his that's signed and patched.
Ooh.
I don't. I think.
Just wait. It could go for money.
You threw it away.
You threw it away.
I've thrown it away.
Okay. Well, classic Vince.
Yeah. Just like I threw my Lawrence Taylor jersey on the floor. I almost tried smashing my Bridor hockey puck. That's signed. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I know you want. How much you want for it?
No, what? All right, anyway. The Knicks, finally a hit to the Knicks. Isaiah Hartenstein signs a 3-year, $87 million deal with OKC.
This is someone the Knicks didn't. They just could not let go of him. He was someone they needed to keep around, and the fact that they lost him, this is big. Now you got Mitchell Robinson as your main guy. Ooh, I don't like this. I do not like this. Hartenstein, we saw him in the playoffs.
Big hit.
Big.
Hartenstein he feeded off the New York energy. That's going to be a big miss for them this coming season.
Now, we're talking about the Knicks here, and I know this is a huge loss for them. But now with OKC, I'm going to tell you something right now. We saw Hartenstein in the playoffs. Good, like we said. But man, on OKC, with a team that's, they were just the first seed, this is going to be electric. Can't wait to see it.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be a lot of fun to watch. Shea and everybody. It's going to be heat.
Yeah. Tobias Harris signs 2-year, $52 million deal with the Pistons. Also, pretty big Pistons.
Are you happy he left?
I'm so happy. We could have had Jimmy Butler over this guy, but instead we chose Tobias Harris. So this just sucks. I'm so glad he's gone now. Off our shoulders.
Tobias Harris over me.
Derek White signs contract with the Celtics for 4 years, worth $125.9 million.
I'm going to say he deserves it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They're just running it back. Like I said, running it back.
Yeah. Let's keep speeding through these. I mean, these are pretty big things. But Klay Thompson signs a 3-year, $50 million deal with the Mavs. He was supposed to go to the Lakers.
Whoa. I think Klay going to the Mavs is huge, number one. The Mavs are going to be electric. But man, for the Warriors, this is a big hit. Losing on someone it's kind of one of their main guys.
But also, he was supposed to go to the Lakers. He was supposed to be ready to go with LeBron.
I would have rather went to the Mavs, more contending of a team. If they lose Derrick Jones, whatever, you get another. What position is he going to play? Small forward? Yeah, because
small forward.
Yeah, because Luka can't play
I'll probably
forward.
Klay Thompson went 0 for 10 in an elimination game.
It's probably going to be Kyrie, Luka, Klay, Najee Marshall.
Lively. Oh, Najee.
Lively. I don't know what
Lively came off the bench last year, I believe. So I don't know. You also get.
They have Gafford too.
Yeah, and Washington. PJ.
They got a squad.
They got a good squad. I'll give you that. Mavs, got to watch out for them again.
Yeah. All right, almost there. Nick Batum agrees to a 2-year, $9.6 million deal to Clippers. Have Clippers basically signed an entire bench so far in this?
Oh, and then they get Mo Bamba. Cannot wait for Mo Bamba to be
Mo Bamba. So he signs the 1-year deal with the Clippers.
Yeah. Batum and Mo Bamba were both on the Sixers this year, and then we just flipped them to the Clippers. So,
but Batum was huge. You saw that in that what playoff game that he went off.
Oh, yeah,
Heat,
right?
I
think that was against the Heat.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Jason Tatum. 5-year max deal up to $314 million.
Can I say something about this? Jaylen Brown deserves more money than this guy.
Yeah,
Yes,
I said
exactly.
He's the Robin to the Batman. All right, Jason Tatum's not the main guy for the Celtics team.
Yeah, he's dropping 17 points in the finals. Jaylen Brown's dropping.
Oh,
30.
and then people are saying, "Oh, he dropped 30 points in Game 5."
Yeah,
come on, he is not the main guy.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
And remember what I said?
He deserves the money, though.
I
Jaylen
know.
Brown might deserve more, but he deserves this money.
Jaylen Brown's going to be one of the best players of all time. I've been said this.
he has potential, and he's still in his 20s, so he has a good amount of years to go.
Yeah. Gary Harris agrees on a 2-year, $14 million deal with the Magic. And then we were talking about the Cavs last week. What do they need to do? They need to re-sign Donovan Mitchell, and that's exactly what happened. Max deal, 3-year, worth $150.3 million. We said that exactly, post the clip, and that's exactly what happened.
They needed.
Oh my! There's so many. James Wiseman agrees to a 2-year deal with the Pacers. Kemba Walker, aka Cardiac Kemba, has officially retired from the NBA after 12 seasons. Vince, you're gonna say he's your childhood again?
Did you watch him growing up?
UConn, yes.
Yeah. Come on. But can we go back to that one moment where he shot it, turned around, started doing the.
That's iconic.
Yeah.
It's sad, but he hasn't gotten on a roster in so long. He played with the Knicks, played with the Celtics, and just went from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. All right. Kyle Anderson signs a 3-year deal worth up to $27 million with the Warriors.
Steal.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd say still slow-mo to the Warriors.
Yeah. I mean,
I think the Timberwolves getting Rob Billingham's kind of a good replacement for this, and I understand he's also a forward, but still getting they're getting replacements, which is fine.
Yeah. LeBron James finally did it. I mean, they didn't exactly do what he wanted them to do. But as soon as his son plays in a summer league game, he signs a $104 million deal for 2 years.
And he drops 4 points.
All
right.
He got JJ Redick as his coach, but he signed that deal so they could get other players, but they're playing people like Max Christie. That's not going to get it done. So they need to get somebody else, or then this Lakers team's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. Joe Ingles agrees to a 1-year deal to join the Timberwolves, who do you think Timberwolves can run it back this year? Kind of do what they did last year.
Come on. They traded 8th graders for Rob Dillingham. Are you kidding me? That's just amazing.
Yeah.
It's a good signing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Alec Burks signs a 1-year deal with the Heat.
I think he's okay. I don't think he's one of the bigger moves, but I saw him and he looks pretty fine.
Franz Wagner signs a 5-year deal worth up to $224 million, max rookie extension. Whew.
Magic, this is something they need to be doing all along.
A lot of money.
But listen, Wagner is I'm not gonna say, because at the end of, I believe it was, I forgot what game 7, he played horrible against the Cavs, but yeah, I think it was something they needed to do.
Was Wagner an All-Star this year?
No.
Okay.
Caleb Martin signs 4-year, $32 million deal with the Sixers.
Turned down $60 million 5-year deal.
I like that. That for us, that's going to be good forward to have. Space the floor, plays some good defense, shoots the ball well.
And listen, who's getting paid? Another Miami Heat player. We saw it last offseason. This is what happens when you come to Miami and you're undrafted. You're going to get paid.
Malik Beasley signs a 1-year deal worth up to $6 million with the Pistons. Pistons looking for a bounce back here, 100%. And they think that's going to cut it. Miles Bridges signs a 3-year, $75 million deal with the Hornets. I don't know. What do you think? Anything to comment?
Miles Bridges.
It's meh.
I know LaMelo's happy about Miles Bridges, but that's pretty much it.
Oh my God. Oh, we're almost there. Dario Saric signs a 2-year, $10.6 million deal with the Nuggets.
good for the Nuggets.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I love
another
Dario.
forward for-
It's a good signing.
All right. DeMar DeRozan signs a 3-year, $74 million deal with the Kings. That was it with the Bulls. Last straw, Josh Giddey.
Listen, did you see? I mean, you guys have probably heard Not Like Us. Kendrick kind of pointed out D Rose going back home. I mean, this is his home, California. It kind of seemed like he was going to go back to California, and he just did that. I love this deal. I think this is amazing. 3 years for the Kings. This is pretty good. But the roster. Have you seen the starting lineup? Going to be very scary. And they did good a couple years ago. Not last season, but the year before that. But yeah, I mean, this is huge bounce back for the Kings. Hopefully, they can get something done this year.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, DeRozan's going to help him a lot. Good veteran for the Kings. They got Fox, Sabonis, DeRozan. It's a good signing. Very good signing.
Oh yeah, definitely. And also included in this deal was a signing trade which sent Harrison Barnes to the Spurs and Chris Durant and 2 second-rounders to the Bulls. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Harrison Barnes.
Bulls.
to the Spurs.
Bulls got.
No, but that's the Spurs.
No,
No,
yeah,
Harrison Barnes to the
Spurs.
Spurs and Chris.
Yeah.
Bulls. So for Bulls, they signed and trade DeRozan. I feel like they got robbed. DeRozan's a quality player for a first round pick. 2 seconds, and Chris Duarte is not worth it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we somehow got through that.
NBA.
First couple days of NBA offseason, free agency,
Crazy.
stuff like that. Crazy. NHL. Let's just go through. We've already spent so much. Let's just go through the big ones.
These are big though. I mean,
Yeah.
we can cover this.
Yeah. All right. Red Wings signed Patrick Kane to a 1-year deal. Patrick Kane. Yeah. Patrick Kane.
1-year deal seems reasonable, but again, he is old. He's unk. He has not been very good. He is. I've been playing NHL a lot recently. How is he still an 89 overall? That just blows my mind. He still has like X Factor and stuff.
I mean, it's EA. They just do their own games.
He's not bad.
Yeah, but
He's gonna
yeah,
help.
he's-
He's
he's
gonna
good.
help
He's-
the Red Wings.
yeah, but he's quite washed. We saw him with the Rangers.
Yeah.
We saw him last year. Not very good.
Carolina Hurricanes trade Jake Gunsel to the Lightning.
Listen, Lightning lost Steven Stamkos, but they get Jake Gensel. This is huge. Lightning might be back next year. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Lightning going back for that Stanley Cup they needed.
Hey, Florida, we can make it what? 4?
Could be 4
yeah.
years in a
Four?
row.
Four?
Florida team.
Well, not 4 years. Oh,
Not 4 years
well,
or 4 since.
We just get
20.
4 in the last like 5 6 years.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah, 4 and 5 seasons it would be something like that. Yeah, but crazy. But speaking of Florida, Panthers signed Sam Reinhart to a massive 8-year deal. Cash.
Wow. I mean, he not only is it's an 8-year deal. Can we switch up how old he is? This is 8 years. Must be like 27, maybe.
28.
Okay.
So 36.
That's huge, but no, definitely like this. Sam Reinhart, big
Yeah.
piece. Kind of one of the reasons why
Yeah.
we won this cup.
Big for the Devils. We're actually making moves. Brett Pesce signed a 6-year deal. He is a big defender. Him, Dougie Hamilton, Luke Hughes rotating in the back is going to be big for us, especially with our interesting goaltender history. So really excited to see that. Yeah, really happy with that. Yeah, anything to say?
No, Devils had a mediocre season. Hopefully they're gonna bounce back.
Damn, are you gonna take that, Andrew?
No, I agree. Actually, I think it was worse than mediocre. That was just sad. We had such high hopes. The Preds. All right. This is crazy.
Because both of these guys have won championships.
Steven
the last couple of years.
Stamkos.
Both of these guys have won championships. This is huge.
So, I mean, well, first of all,
And John
yeah.
Marshall.
So, the Preds, are they contenders?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You just got 2 veterans who have won cups in the last couple of years. Maybe, I think it was, since the 2000s, or 2020s, sorry, 2000s.
Yeah.
It's 2020s. This is huge for the Predators. They will be contenders for sure.
Yeah.
That's not even a question.
Would you guys say the Predators right now are the leaders of the offseason in the NHL?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say so. I mean, can we
Yeah.
talk about Florida losing some couple big pieces? Brandon
Yeah.
Montour right here.
Yeah. All right, well, so Chandler Stevenson and Brandon Montour signed with Seattle, the Kraken.
Ooh,
Kraken
making
out
moves.
there making moves.
Montour's a good defender.
They need
I
a big
I
year.
haven't really searched up that much about Chandler Stevenson, but I've seen his highlights. He's been all right. But yeah, Brandon Montour, huge defender.
Jake DeBrusk signs with Vancouver Canucks. Canucks need to get back to where they were last year. They've definitely failed in the postseason a bit. Lastly, for now, Tarasenko to the Red Wings. A big hit for the Rangers. That's huge.
Wow. Red Wings making kind of some moves here that we saw it. Patrick Kane. I get it. He's a little veteran, but Tarasenko, huge.
Yeah, of course. We need to pause again. All right, so as we said already, the NHL draft was also last week, and we kind of didn't talk a ton about it. But there's a couple things we want to mention. Obviously, we knew who was going to go first overall here, Macklin Celebrini, to the San Jose Sharks. Is this guy going to be what everyone's saying he's going to be?
Well, he won't be the next Bedard, but I'll tell you this. He will be one of the best players in the NHL in the next couple of years. We've seen him. He's close to home back in San Jose. This is nice. This is a very, very good move for San Jose. They're trying to get, their future right. And, after losing – they won. I know it's the one that's in a couple years ago, was it?
Yeah, like
So,
20. I'm not going to embarrass myself by getting this
18,
wrong, but
17,
yeah,
around that time. So yeah, I mean, this is definitely a huge move for them.
Totally agree. He was the clear number one pick, so it's perfect for San Jose.
Yeah, definitely.
And wait, before we move on, Utah took their first ever selection.
Oh yeah, Utah.
I don't know much about Tish, but I know his dad was a former player.
He was, yeah. So that's kind of it for NHL today. And because we're kind of running out of time and we need to let Sam go, the only thing I'm going to say about the MLB is the Yankees are the worst. Every year this happens. That's all I'm going to say.
What's the Red Sox song?
What?
I was singing the Mets song the other day.
Oh, Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline.
Wow, okay.
Bum, bum.
Copyright. Thank you. Okay. But yeah, Sweet Caroline. God, this team can't get anything right. Euros. So, after the quarterfinals versus France, Portugal's Ronaldo has likely played his last game for his home country. You don't think he's going to be playing at the next World Cup in 2 years?
He's done.
I think he is. He said he wants to.
I think he's going to be there in 2 years.
I think he's going to be there in 2 years. I know he's not as impactful anymore as he scored 0 goals. But, it's Ronaldo. I think he'll be there.
I think he's going to be there.
Well, if he is there...
It's 2 years. It's not like he's waiting another 4.
If he is there, he's not going to get playing time. I'm going to tell you this right now. How old is he going to be turning?
He's 39 right now, so he'll be 41.
41. All right,
Yeah.
That's not awful, though.
That's Pepe's age.
Yeah, but...
So...
Come on, Pepe's on a different level.
Yeah.
He puts his heart out.
And another one, the legend Tony Cruz has officially retired from the great game after Germany's loss in the quarterfinals.
They look good.
That's not what we're focusing on here. We're focusing on the
good.
legend Tony Cruz. Yeah, but we're focusing on the legend Tony Cruz. Amazing career. He definitely ended it off well. Maybe not in
on the club stage.
Yeah, on the club stage, he definitely ended off well, and he definitely had an amazing career just throughout all of it. So
I'm surprised he didn't get like a red or anything.
That tackle on Gavi was insane.
No. Wait, was it Pedri or Gavi?
I
think it was Pedri. He killed Pedri.
And they gave
how
him.
he didn't get a red.
Did he get a yellow? I don't even know.
Did you see the stadium erupt? That goal was insane.
Yeah.
But also, the one thing I want to say about that goal, there's literally 2 Spanish defenders sitting there, and they're just like, "Oh, I'll let it go past."
Listen, now that we're on the topic, it was a good game overall. I think Spain just scored a game winner just like that, and 2 seconds left, amazing, or 2 minutes left, just phenomenal. Yeah. But now with that, I'm taking Spain against France all the way, baby. I know I said France in the beginning.
Yeah.
Spain is just. I'm also Spanish, so it's kind of rooting for like a home country in a bit. So I'm definitely taking Spain.
This one's tough for me. France, listen, great team. They have what it takes. Spain, I think this is Spain's year. Spain looked really good. Germany wasn't not a strong team, and that was definitely a tighter game than I think I would have liked it to be. But
But I do remember something. I don't know if you were watching the game.
France can't score goals though.
Friend,
Oh,
they've
no,
scored
no, no,
zero normal goals.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all been either.
So
goals
that's
or-
why I'm taking Spain here. That's why I'm
No,
taking
but,
Spain.
no,
here.
it's not also that, but I mean, again, Spain's missing out on Carvajal next game. He did get a red,
Right, yeah.
so he won't be there. And I forgot the. I think one of their midfielders is also out. A lot of players are out for them that are huge. Also, one of them, the one that's out, I forgot his name. He did score a goal, so huge for them. But yeah,
Right, yeah.
I just think Spain's looked out of all the teams left. England,
Yes.
they've scored a lot of. Spain's looked the most consistent.
and I was saying Netherlands even in the beginning of the tournament, but still, I don't think Netherlands, England, or France can even compete, or even Germany at one point could even compete with Spain.
Exactly. So England versus Netherlands. Listen. Well, you go first.
Well, I mean, you took England to win the whole thing. Kind of surprised.
Yeah, I'm stupid. I fully regret that. They do not play together as a team.
Listen,
They
I
cannot
said-
create
I
chances.
said either
That was
France
awful.
or Spain. I said either.
That was
France or Spain,
awful.
So I had a good
Yeah.
prediction. But yeah, I said I'm taking England.
That was
in this.
awful.
You're taking Netherlands.
I'm taking Spain. Spain's just
Or-
the.
England or Netherlands.
Oh no, my fault.
Yeah,
I'm taking England. Netherlands. I just England's the more veteran, more I think well
I
balanced
mean,
team.
yeah.
They're more veteran, but they
Netherlands-
can't play together.
Netherlands,
No, they
they've,
have no
they've
chemistry
scored late
because
goals.
what's it
And
called?
Jude Bellingham's been the worst player on the team, and now Trent
That
out.
bicycle kick was
Video.
insane.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
But Trent Alexander-Arnold
nice.
isn't in his right position.
well,
but here's the thing about the
what's Trent
Netherlands.
Playing center mid or something, or he's playing mid. Yeah. No, yeah. They give him mid.
He's
It's
not.
so
He's
weird.
not. Yeah. Anyway, Netherlands. They have the chemistry. They have the ability to beat England. 100%.
España all the way. That's all I gotta say.
Who did it? I mean, first of all, England. I watched the whole game with my friend who's an England supporter. They drew with Slovenia,
Mhm.
which was rough to watch. They had so many chances, just nothing happened. You have to score a goal against Slovenia as England.
Well, Netherlands didn't look very good to me either. So even
At least they scored.
yeah, but I can assure you this game's gonna go in the pens. No doubt.
Oh yeah. Copa America though. So
I was really talking about this. This is exciting.
This has been
Yeah.
good games.
Argentina versus Canada. Well,
I think this is-
Argentina.
Argentina.
All right. Anyway.
Argentina.
Anyway. Messi did end up playing that game the other day.
Yeah,
He missed his penalty.
Yeah, he missed his pen.
All right.
This is going to be the fun one. Uruguay versus Colombia.
These are the two teams that are the most electric and
Mhm.
just firing me up.
Have you seen Darwin Nunez in this tournament?
He's been
insane.
Goals. Assists.
I think he had 6 straight
No,
games
just,
with a goal.
Uruguay is just playing so good. Like, and this chemistry, you can see this chemistry.
But then again, here's the thing: Colombia has looked so
They won
good.
5-0
They are so
versus
good.
Man-
Hold on.
Panama.
They have a song after them already. This Copa America. This is a huge moment for them. Both of these.
When
teams
is this
have
game?
chemistry.
Do you know when this game is?
No clue, but I will be tuning in. It's probably at 9:00 when all the games usually are. But yeah, man, this is gonna be a fun one.
8 o'clock
Wednesday.
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 We'll be watching that.
We'll be
That's gonna
watching
be
it.
insane. I'm so excited for
Such a
that.
good game.
Um,
I got Uruguay, but yeah.
I got
Yeah.
Colombia, 5-0 against Panama. They've looked very good. Luis Diaz has been very good. Their entire team's had.
look at these Liverpool guys out there. You got Virgil and you got Darwin Nunez. For some reason, he's good
Yo,
now.
James Rodriguez though.
I know,
Mm.
yeah.
Ooh,
little
Bring
baller
it-
right there.
bring it back to the old days. Right there.
Crazy.
Wow,
But yeah,
fact.
that's
Jesus.
pretty much gonna do it for this episode, which means we're moving on to the fast facts because there's 4 of them today. As well, we kind of already said this,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Joey Chestnut didn't participate because of contract disputes, stuff like that. He did his own thing. Do you see he got through like 50 hot
Yeah,
dogs though?
he did better than the actual guy.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. Joey
No one's gonna
Chestnut's-
watch it.
Joey Chestnut is the only person that made me watch the hot dog eating contest.
Yeah, this is just a bad day for American
Yeah.
history.
The Warriors will retire Klay Thompson's number 11 in the
Deserves it.
Raptors, and that will forever be known as a part of that era. He needs to be remembered as the guy who was there with Steph.
No, I mean, this is definitely something deserved. Klay Thompson is one of the best, not just shooters in all time, but especially in the Warriors franchise history. But yeah, man, to see him and Steph Curry's numbers up there in the Raptors one day, huge.
He's part of the Splashbirds, part of that dynasty. Had to be retired.
Yeah, definitely. And lastly, this is the stupidest one I think we've ever had. Kai Stad's Buzzard Rolly Avalanche will be in college football
This is
25.
my first time rapping it. I might go. This is amazing.
This game is gonna be.
Not only is this game amazing, we got the greatest 2 songs. Perfect timing. They told me bust on my AP. Come on, this is amazing. This is amazing.
This game is gonna be so fun. This has been 10 years in the making. I can't wait for this college football game.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Oh, trade. What was that? Oh, that's not that big. Reds sending Alex Young to San Francisco for outfielder and cash. Nothing huge, but I'm sure trade deadline approaching. That's gonna be fun, and we'll definitely do more MLB in future weeks. But
And let's go, baby.
and
Next week,
NCAA
game comes
25.
up.
All right, and now we're joined by special guest Joe Tordy. Joe has worked a lot with UPenn and across a lot of sports for them, but specifically today we want to talk some Ivy hoops because they've certainly been getting interesting over the last couple of years, especially with what Princeton has done, making it to the Sweet 16 a couple of years ago, and of course a lot of other strong guys, and now they're having draft prospects for the first time in many years, which is really cool to see. So definitely a lot to talk about there, and thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, so first of all, I think we should start with UPenn because they've definitely had, I would say, an interesting season. I don't think it's the season most were hoping for. We saw them start off pretty strong. You know, as we were talking about right before this, they started off beating Villanova in that Big Five tournament. I think that you guys have in the Philly area before, and that was definitely an interesting game. So, were you watching that game or a part of that game?
Yeah, I was on the call for the Villanova
Oh, that's
game.
awesome.
That was one of the cooler moments of the season. It was a tough season. I mean, you think about the way that everything played out, and a little bit of a slow start of the season. You never know how it's going to go.
Yeah.
But then you see that game, and Penn beats Villanova. You're like, okay, well, this team's off and running.
Yeah.
And so, it's kind of silly. That ended up being just the first of a many roller coaster of the season.
Yeah. And that was definitely a game where we start to see Villanova, they're usually a powerhouse in basketball, and we started to see them go downhill from there, and then they only made to NIT this year as some other Ivy teams did. So that was definitely the start of kind of the downfall. But then UPenn, after that, they struggled a bit in non-conference play. I think they beat Monmouth after that and then someone else, but that was kind of it. So they went off into the Ivy games not looking too great, right?
Well, so one of the things that's happened since Steve Donohue's taken over the program is that they've really placed an emphasis on that non-conference schedule. So the Ivy League schedule, I mean, you've seen so much of it. It's such a grind. Even though that they've gotten rid of a lot of the old-fashioned back-to-backs, it's still such a physically demanding conference schedule that, they said you're seeing teams all throughout the conference, right? Schedule, Miami and Washington and Oregon and all these teams, right? So, thanks, Vince. So, with Penn's no exception, right? So, you bring in at the Cathedral Classic, you're talking about some of the best mid-major programs in the country.
Of course,
Belmont every single year is a team that's to be reckoned with. So, going into conference play, you had that question. You're dealing with Auburn, you're dealing with Houston, some really top programs.
Yeah.
And the other thing is from a personnel perspective, you've seen guys as you've watched over the course of their careers, especially if they stick in one place, take the big leap from junior year to senior year. And that's what happened for Clark Slackert. It really looked Clark Slackert was going to take over the world in the Ivy League. And so his injury in the Auburn game and that knocked him out of the Houston game was so devastating. That really changed the angle and the trajectory for how things were going for Penn.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And now we see that Slackard, who was supposed to be one of those guys who would help lead them into the Ivy tournament, hopefully beyond, he did get that injury, and now he's graduated, but he took his graduate year to USC. And that's definitely going to be interesting to see. It's always fun to see these Ivy guys who play in the Ivy League because everyone always says, the Ivy League is different than just the rest of college basketball and stuff like that. It's a different play style and things like that. It's always interesting to see these guys who've been superstars in the Ivy League go to schools like USC and things like that. So it's definitely going to be, I think, exciting to watch them there, but it's a big hit for UPenn, especially now that they don't have their superstar.
Well, and you kind of deal with it every year in the Ivy League, right? Like it's 4 years and that's it, period, no matter what. And a lot of times you did see with COVID and everything, they did get an extra year, so some guys got used to sticking around, trying to figure out how you're going to manage your roster on a year in year out basis. But unfortunately or fortunately, it's just the way that it is. That's always the way it's been in the Ivy League. So I think that the coaches in the Ancient Eight are kind of used to dealing with that.
Yeah. And of course, now we're seeing the transfer portal just be a much bigger part of college sports. And that's definitely also affecting the way that Ivy League players are developing, because you're seeing superstars rise up like Xavier Lee, who I think is an exception to what we're seeing right now, and other guys who are looking to either get drafted pretty much immediately or transfer out as soon as they start to gain some attention. So the Ivy League now is starting to be a sort of jumping off ground for other conferences and stuff, which is not necessarily great for Ivy League basketball, but it's definitely good for the development of these guys who might not be getting chances elsewhere.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how some teams of recent vintage have come together, right? You look at Tommy Amaker at Harvard, who's been a pretty unbelievable recruiter, and the ability that he's had to get guys in the building. Truthfully, it wouldn't be a huge surprise if you would have told me, oh, yeah, like Harvard's seeing a lot of guys transfer out. It's like, okay, well, if they're getting ESPN 100 talent, that's not a huge shock to me, right? And previously, I mean, you look at Desmond Cambridge and some of the other guys who've come in and come out. It's not like there hasn't been talent in the Ivy League,
right.
But a lot of times we've seen that talent develop over the course of a couple of years. The trend is now accelerating more, where it's it doesn't matter if somebody just spent 1 year in the Ivy League. If there's an opportunity, there's a real risk, despite the prestige of an Ivy League degree, that those guys might be jumping for greener pastures.
Yeah.
Like you said, how do I get to the league? So that's what those guys are thinking about.
Of course. And we saw, you mentioned Harvard, Malik Mack, who is one of the strongest players in the Ivy League last year, transferred to Georgetown, who is also kind of an up-and-coming program. They've been pretty good the last couple of years. But again, it's that jumping-off point. He had top 3 Ivy season last year, all Ivy team, stuff like that. And now he took the opportunity to transfer away, which, of course, is not just a hit to Harvard, but again to that Ivy image of how they're going to be facilitating their league and stuff like that. So, I mean, what do you think about just specifically the Malik Mack move? Because that's definitely big for in the grand scheme of things.
Well, so in particular, I think that that's interesting because Mack is a guy who, and not to say anything about him not being ready for Georgetown, or I'm not saying that at all, but you wonder what he looks like if he takes the Bryce Aiken path of putting in a couple years at Harvard and then seeing what it looks like down the road. Now, he's a special talent, and he's a guy who is ready to contribute right away. And it makes me think that if you lose a guy like Malik Mack from the Ivy League, it's not to say that no one's safe, because Fabian Lee and Caden Pierce are sticking around.
Exactly.
But you think about it, and it used to be that teams like Power 5 teams would have to get an up close and personal look at some of these guys, right? So I'm thinking about Makai Masons at Yale. Not single-handedly, but plays a big role in knocking Baylor out. And Baylor's like, yeah, we won't get that. So Makai Mason goes to Baylor. It happened with Penn twice. You have a tough game against Iona. All of a sudden, Rick Pitino's not Iona's coach anymore. He's at St. John's. It's like, that Jordan Dingle guy's pretty good. I'm going to try to bring Dingle in. It happened again with Penn's freshman this year, Tyler Perkins. Perkins played a big role in them beating Villanova.
Of course.
Kyle Neptune says, yeah, I'm going to try to get that guy to come to Villanova. So, unfortunately, it used to be that Ivies could play spoiler and things like that. And it's a compliment to the coaching abilities and recruiting abilities in the league. But, Andrew, you're seeing it as much as I am, that there's a talent drain that's happening sooner rather than losing guys after their senior year or before.
Of course, right. And you mentioned, of course, and we'll get a lot more into this in a bit, but Xavier Lee and Caden Pierce of Princeton. Princeton's been on the rise a ton the last couple of years. And, we see only really one guy they're losing. 2 guys, I guess. Matalako, he graduates. That's kind of out of their control. And then Zach Martini goes to Rutgers, which again, we're seeing Zach Martini have an excellent season. We were talking about this earlier. His play style is a little all over the place, but Rutgers saw an opportunity to take him. He's still staying in his home state in the area, and he's definitely going to be getting more. I guess, Princeton's getting a lot of recognition right now, but he's going to be getting more recognition as a guy coming off the bench for Rutgers. But But then again, you're seeing guys like Xavier Lee who says, I want to focus on my education as well. Being a true student athlete, I want to focus on my education, get my Princeton education, but then also take a shot at the NBA draft, which he did. He said that he might get drafted this year, and he did go to the G League Combine and stuff like that, but then pulled out. And same for guys like Caden Pierce, who hasn't quite gotten to the step Xavier Lee has yet, but stuff like that. And I just think that we're looking at Xavier Lee could be setting like a precedent for what could be happening to Ivy League players in the future.
And I think that if you ask like the Ivy League athletic directors and the people who are in charge of the conference, they point to Lee as saying, see, the sky isn't falling. There are still people that value the Ivy League education, things like that. The question that I have now, and Pierce sticking around is another interesting one because I think he'd be another player who'd be gobbled up by
of
somebody.
Course, yeah.
But like, are those guys the exceptions or are the ones who are leaving the exceptions? So it's still so early in the process that like that rule hasn't been proven yet.
Right. And you're seeing Xavier Lee, he did genuinely get interest this year in getting drafted. The game I went to, there were scouts there from, I think, 4 NBA teams or something like that. So he's genuinely has a chance to be one of the first guys drafted out of Princeton and like a big guy for the Ivy League to get drafted. So I think if that happens, you're going to see that, well, he first of all has to succeed in the NBA because, again, people still say the Ivy League, different competition, stuff like that is different than playing against teams like Duke and stuff like that. But I still think that if he's able to succeed, I think it's going to set a precedent for what can happen in the future, and especially with the duo of Lee and Caden Pierce trying to work through this together. They said in a documentary that they want to be those two guys for Princeton. I think if they can work through this together, the Ivy League might be looking very different in a couple of years.
Well, and you look at what they've accomplished already together, right? You look at the tournament wins that Princeton's had, and sure, Alaco was a big part of that as well, but Lee and Pierce are two guys that definitely made those teams go. Yeah. So if they're committed to seeing that through together, you found that college athletics, at least I have, I don't want to speak for you, but a lot of times it's a copycat situation where nobody wants to be first.
Of course.
In the Ivy League's case, it's like, who's going to be the first big-time athlete that goes? Of
course, right, yeah.
Like that. And then after one or two do, then you start to see the floodgates open. So similarly, if Pierce and Lee are committed to sticking around at Princeton and saying, okay, we're going to build something here, we're going to try to be that mid-major team that nobody wants to play against in the NCAA tournament, then perhaps that attracts more people, not just to Princeton, but to the league in general, saying, hey, if they're doing it, I can do it too.
And of course, I think that this could have been a very different NCAA tournament and just a very different outlook for the Ivy League next year if Princeton did not fall to Brown in the Ivy League tournament. But they had a very strong season, and then they get to that point. I thought like Cornell was a very strong team this year as well. Same for Yale, who ended up winning. I think that was kind of a hit to what Princeton could have done this year and what they could have shown the rest of the world as they did 2 years ago, making it to the Sweet 16. So I think that this year is the go time for Princeton to get farther than they ever have. And I think it's also the time for Xavier Lee and Caden Pierce to show that they are like national athletes. They're in the top 100 and whatever. And Xavier Lee, as he started to climb up the scoring rankings and stuff, I would check like his ESPN stats. He dropped 32, and as soon as that happens, everyone in the U.S. pretty much knew his name.
Yeah, and so, your point, if they would have won the Ivy League tournament, the profile would still probably be even larger. But even with that, like you said, the spotlight's already pretty bright. Like everyone kind of knows who they are right now. So, like the Ivy League tournament, I think has been such an unbelievably positive thing for the conference.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Just because, like, if you are somebody out there who's saying, "Oh, mid-major basketball, this," and like the teams would be able to compete, it's like, okay, well, if you don't know the Ivy League, not only do they go through that entire slog of the regular season, and like my broadcast partner Vince Curran might call some of those games rock fights, like that's what you go through, and then you have to survive an actual elimination one and done tournament games, like so. The teams that are coming out are worthy. Like, with all due respect, you said Cornell. I thought Cornell had the best season that I've seen Cornell have since the Steve Donahue days in like 2010, 2011. The Yale team that did come out of it was deserving.
Of course.
Princeton was probably the best team. So like, Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough, but now if Princeton is able to answer those questions next year and say, okay, we're taking the lessons that we learned from the loss and move into a dominant regular season run, a dominant Ivy League tournament run, then the attention that those two players that you mentioned attracts will be so much greater, so much more.
Yeah, and then, but you're talking about that like grueling task of even getting through the season. I think that caught up to Princeton, where you see them go into the last couple games. I mean, they did blow out Penn as one of their last games of the season, but it was tough because they went through, I think, Cornell twice in the last couple weeks, and Yale was a part of that too, and they were in that like title fight for the first seed there as well. And I think that caught up to them a lot, and especially Xavier Lee, who now has the spotlight on him the entire time. He ended up kind of falling back towards the end of the season, even though you still see his stock going up and up every time he steps on the court. So it definitely caught up to them, but that's not to say that that wasn't one of the best Ivy League seasons for any of those three teams that we've seen in a while.
Sure, absolutely. And I mean, to piggyback onto your point, when you've got Penn and Princeton as the two southernmost Ivies, once you get past Columbia, there's no easy trip, right? If you're going to Cornell, if you're going to Brown, if you're going to Yale, if you're going to Dartmouth, like there's no such thing, regardless of the quality or the caliber of the teams in any given year. It's like, okay, at the end of a long season, you're really ready to go back up to New Haven, or you're really ready to go up to Hanover. Like, so, teams like Yale, like Penn, like Princeton, when they're having these really strong seasons, still have to answer those questions at the end of the year. And like you said, it naturally does wear down those guys.
Of course, yeah. And again, we're seeing that like natural like wearing down of these guys. The Ivy League players, number one, as they play more throughout these Ivy League seasons, they're going to become more used to it. And second, that's different than what other teams are going through. You're seeing Duke is chartering jets probably to fly across the country to wherever they need to go. And it's definitely it's the Ivy League is just different, and it always will be, and it always has been. And it's, again, I'm going to kind of repeat myself. It's become this breeding ground for these superstar athletes, and we're going to see how that affects some of those guys. But then another guy I wanted to talk about was Lilly Jr. from Brown, who declared for the draft as well, like Xavier Lee, and then also decided to withdraw. The attention those two guys were getting was huge, but still both of them decided to hang back despite their draft stock being quite high. Do you think that there's a specific reason for that Xavier Lee didn't just go for it?
Well, you almost have to look at what he says, right? And so, we can dig for deeper reasons, but if you listen to Lee, everything that I read and I heard from Xavier was that he was committed to exploring the process and wanted to see how everything was going. And in my mind, that's so that when it is game time and it's when he's ready to do that, for real, it's not his first time through it. He's seen it all and everything like that. But everything that I've heard is that he's committed to building at Princeton and trying to win and win big at Princeton.
Yeah.
So, pulling out of the process when he did, I don't know how much more he was going to get out of the process.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
you go through your workouts, you go through the media stuff, you go through all that other thing. And then if you feel like you're going to get drafted and stick around, then great. But clearly he, whether it was him personally, advisors, whatever, was thinking that the best decision for him and his family was going to be to pull out.
Yeah, and I believe that he had a chance, but I think, first of all, going to the G League Combine, number one, even though he was a pretty highly drafted prospect, he came on very late onto the scene, just pretty much midway through just last season. And that certainly was a hit for his possibility of getting drafted this year. But also, he's going to the G League Combine, you're right. He's trying to figure it out. He's trying to discover what the process might be like in a year or two for him. And he's also trying to see, what are the guys around me doing? And because, again, he's barely played any of these out of the Ivy League guys, and these guys need to figure out how to play against these other high-level teams.
Well, and it's interesting because you look at the AAU circuit and things like that. It's guys who are used to playing against super high level competition, and some of those guys end up at Ivy League schools, right? So unless their schools are committed, and like we said, the Ivy League's done a pretty decent job, I think, over the last several years of really going after it in terms of scheduling. But you don't have 10 of those huge games. It's not the same schedule that Duke plays. It's not the same schedule that Houston plays, right? But I mean, from a physical readiness perspective, that's the other thing that I think is not specific to Lee, but including Lee. One of the things that an Ivy League coach told me when I was asking him about Lee was he said, well, he's bigger than I thought he was.
Right.
And I said, I don't know if that's a compliment. You know what I mean? Like, if you have to see him in person, be like, wow, the Xavier Lee guy's like bigger than I thought. Maybe there's work on the body
Right, of
that
course.
would be good to do, and things like that. And obviously, you've got the best food and sports scientists in the world at these institutions, so maybe that's an element to it as well. But the competition, like you said, iron sharpens iron. That's the biggest thing.
Of
You got to
course.
find chances to make that happen.
Right, yeah. And Xavier Lee, is actually on the smaller end. I think like around like 6'3", which of course we're seeing as possible with maybe Bronny James, depending on the reasons he got drafted. But he's so shifty. Like if we're talking about just his play style, he's so shifty, but he's also able to nail down the threes. And he's just a complete guy. But his size, I think, is going to affect where he gets drafted into who.
Well, so I view it as both a positive and a negative. I don't think there's a ton of projection in Xavier Lee.
Right.
So, I think you see what he brings to the table, and that's what he brings to the table right now. I don't know if it's, and I'm not meaning to compare these two players, but people were talking about when Anthony Davis was going number 1 overall. Think about what he's going to do after you put this and this and this. I don't know if that's the part for Xavier Lee.
Right.
For Xavier Lee, it's like you look at what he brings to the table right now, a guy that you feel confident playing probably either guard position. He'd probably be a little bit small for a 2, but if you've got him as the one who can bring the ball up and also hit a shot, he's a smart player, better than you think defensively. There's lots of things to really like about what he brings to the table. So that's the thing, is that if a team, especially a good team, is like, okay, we need exactly what he brings to the table right now.
Yeah.
It's better than a team that's, maybe in the tank saying, oh, what can we get out of him in 3 or 4 or 5 years?
Right, of course.
Not saying that he's not going to get better, because obviously he is, but I don't think that there are 4 more gears to his game that he's going to find.
And I think him coming off the bench in his first couple of years while he's still developing could be really beneficial to some NBA team out there who's looking for a spark like he brings to Princeton, just a spark to come off the bench mid-game. Maybe you're behind by a bit and you need to just start making plays and scoring buckets, which he can do and he is really good at doing. But it's, again, just going to be a matter of who's going to take a chance on him, who's going to decide that this guy is really legit, not just he's tearing up the Ivy League, but that he is capable of being an NBA player, and when is that going to happen for him, whether it's this season, if he keeps it up, or the season after.
Well, and I know that transitive property isn't always true in sports. Like if A beats B and B beats C, does that mean that A could beat C? That doesn't always mean anything. But I think you do look at some of the other high-profile guys in the Ivy League who have gone on to high major competition, and you look at Jordan Dingle, who's a big-time scorer, big-time player, very tough, physical guy. You talked about Malik Mack, and you look at how Lee fared against those guys, and I'm not saying that he was absolutely dominating those guys, but he completely looked like he belonged.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
so,
of course.
If you're looking at Malik Mack as a potential NBA player at some point, and you're saying, oh, well, this Lee guy did fine against him, it's hard to not think, all right, well, this guy might stick. This guy kind of belongs here.
Of course. And just to kind of wrap this up back with Penn, we're talking about, again, their rough season this year and how they're looking to bounce back. They lost a couple guys, but are you seeing anything special that might be happening this year?
Well, a couple things, right? The big thing is that Penn has been more active in the transfer portal than anybody else. So how that equates to scheme and fit and everything is yet to be determined. I would anticipate that you're likely to see Sam Brown take that Clark Slackert role and try to eventually grow into that role. You've got another year of Nick Spinoso as a senior, who's been probably their most important player. So there are pieces there for Penn, but there are many big questions too. How do you incorporate all of the transfers? How do you handle losing Tyler Perkins, who you saw as being a big part of what your future is? And obviously Steve Donahue and his staff are ready. They've recruited and they know what their game plan is going to be. But for me, on the outside, not being in the locker room on a day-to-day basis, the questions that I have are how are all of the new faces going to be integrated? Who's going to make a big impact?
And I think from the small sample size I've seen of Spinoso, he looks like one of those guys who could really step up for this team, because you see when they're falling behind to Princeton and stuff like that, in that really tight Princeton UPenn game, he was able to just drive the bucket and just get points on the board, which is huge, and it's big for any basketball team. So I think especially for a UPenn team that just needs to score points right now, I think, and have a lockdown defense, this guy is going to be huge coming in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I'd anticipate that. And that's been a focus of Steve Donahue teams. When you look at A.J. Broder, you look at Max Rothschild, and now with Nick, it's a guy who has to be able to handle the ball at the top of the key, has to be able to distribute. Defending the rim is a plus. And also, like you said, when Nick is committed to scoring, he's shown that he's been able to score. The question is, he's so unselfish. Can you get him to want to take over more games? And it's hard to tell a player, go get your own shot more when he's trying to make the right play. But I think that'll be one of the things that'll kind of indicate success for Penn this year.
Right, of course. And I think you're talking about making those plays and stuff. They're taught to be able to always look for the best play, but sometimes, especially with a team that's kind of in between big players and stuff like that, you kind of have to just go make the shot yourself. And to bring it back to Princeton one last time, we saw that with Xavier Lee. At one point, the game he dropped 32, he passed the ball like 5 times. I'm exaggerating a bit there, but he did not pass the ball. And then later in the season, you see when he's putting up less points, although he's getting assists and racking up just good plays and stuff like that, they weren't as consistent at all. And he just wasn't able to get the ball to a spot where he could drive the bucket or score or make a big three. So that's just something you need to look out for, how you're being a team player, but also if I just go and try to make this bucket, will be better for the team in the long run.
And that's a testament, too, to Mitch Henderson's coaching, that the best players have the confidence and know. It's not like Lee is some veteran who's been around for a million years. Like, you're conveying to your younger players, hey, it's okay, go ahead, get your shot. If you're hot, then you're hot, and you are the offense. And knowing that you kind of have the green light has to be really reassuring for those guys.
It definitely does. Well, thank you so much, Joe. We'll see what happens this season with both of these teams and all these players. And thanks for joining us.
Vince, great to talk to you. Andrew, thanks a lot for this.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. But that's pretty much going to do it for episode 48 of the Sports Coach Podcast. My name is Andrew, alongside my co-host Vince. If you're here on YouTube, like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. Audio only on Spotify, and clips and announcement posts over on Instagram. Thank you so much, Sam, for joining us. We'll have some clips out with him this week and so much more from SBC camp. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.